Welcome to the Explainer. What if I told you the greatest victory you could ever achieve is one that nobody even notices? We're diving into this incredible idea from Sun Tzu, where winning has nothing to do with the fight itself, but everything to do with the quiet preparation that happens long before.
So I want you to picture a brilliant victory. What comes to mind? Is it that dramatic, last-minute, against all odds struggle? The stuff movies are made of? Or is it something else? Something quieter, almost invisible, but way more powerful?
We're kind of conditioned to celebrate the stuff on the left, right? The big, emotional, high-risk spectacle. We love a hero who wins through bravery. But Sun Tzu flips that completely on its head. He argues for the column on the right. A win that's so calculated and certain, it's undramatic. It's so effortless that it just happens. The goal isn't just to be brave, it's to be invincible.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we're going to tear apart that common myth of the glorious victory. Then we'll talk about building an invincible position. From there, we'll see how that leads to winning without making any mistakes. Then we'll look at the engine that makes it all certain. And finally, the effortless masterstroke. Okay, let's jump right in. We're going to challenge this idea of what winning even means. Because in this way of thinking, if people are patting you on the back and saying, well done, that might actually be a sign you messed up somewhere.
What Sun Tzu is getting at here is so sharp. He's saying that if your victory is obvious to everybody, if anyone off the street could see it coming, then you haven't really achieved the highest level of skill. True mastery is way more subtle than that. It's almost invisible.
And this just takes that idea one step further. If you have to get into a messy public brawl and everyone cheers for your courage, that's a red flag. It means your strategy failed earlier on. A true master would have avoided that costly public fight in the first place.
So if winning a big, glorious fight isn't the goal, then what is? Well, the answer isn't about planning your attack. It's about preparing yourself. Let's dig into what that actually means. This right here is the absolute bedrock of the whole strategy. Before you even think about winning, your one and only job is to focus on not losing. And here's the kicker. Making yourself invincible is totally 100% within your own control.
Now pay close attention to the sequence here, because it's everything. Step 1, make yourself impossible to beat. Step 2, wait patiently. It's not about being aggressive and rushing in. It's about building a fortress and then just waiting for the other guy to give you an opening.
And this really spells it out. You can control your own defense, your preparation, your setup. That's all in your hands. But what you can't control is when your opponent will make a mistake. That opportunity has to be given to you by them. Your job is just to be so unshakably ready that when it comes, you can't miss it. So even your basic posture sends a signal. Being on the defensive doesn't mean you're weak. It's actually a smart, calculated move that says, hey, conditions aren't perfect yet. You only go on the attack when you have what Sun Tzu calls a superabundance of strength, a massive surplus of power that you built up while you were patiently waiting. Okay, so this is where it gets really cool. When you build this invincible position, it leads to these victories that are so clean, so decisive, that they don't even look like a fight. And this is the great paradox of mastery. Think about it. When you do your job perfectly, nobody gives you any credit. No one calls you a genius or a hero, because from the outside, it looked easy. They never saw the months of quiet, invisible planning and preparation that made it look that way. This is the key. Victory isn't won during the clash. It's secured long beforehand by getting rid of all your own potential errors. You don't fight to try and win. You engage to confirm a reality that's already set in stone. You are facing an opponent who has, for all intents and purposes, already lost. Okay, this all sounds great, but how is it actually done? This isn't some kind of magic or gut feeling. For Sun Tzu, victory is basically the result of a math problem. It's a rigorous, calculated process. He lays out these 5 steps that take all the chaos and uncertainty of a conflict and turn it into a predictable outcome. You measure everything, you estimate all the forces, you calculate the variables, you balance the odds, and only then does victory pop out at the end like an engineered certainty. Let that one sink in for a second. The fight is not the moment of decision. It's just the public announcement of a result that was already figured out in private. You don't go into a fight hoping to win. You go into a fight because you already have. The whole point of this process is to create a massive, overwhelming imbalance of power. You're not looking for a fair fight, no way. The goal is to make the confrontation like putting a 1-pound weight on a scale against a single grain of sand. The outcome is just inevitable. So after all that patience, all that preparation, all that calculation, what does this inevitable victory actually look like when it finally happens? I mean, what a perfect metaphor. It's not a struggle. It's not a grind. It's a sudden, overwhelming release of potential that you've been building up for ages. To an outsider who never saw the dam being built, it looks completely effortless, like a force of nature. So let's bring it all home. What's the bottom line here? It's about a huge shift in focus. Stop thinking about how to win the fight and start thinking about how to create a situation where you simply cannot lose. Remember, true strength is quiet. The best victories look easy, and winning is never, ever an accident. It's an engineered result. And look, this ancient wisdom isn't just for generals on a battlefield. This is a powerful roadmap for your career, for negotiations, for your personal goals. So the question I want to leave you with is this. What is a battle in your life you're gearing up for right now that you could instead win today by simply making it irrelevant?